This is Caribbean Power Lunch. I'm your host, Kevin Valley. My co-host tonight, Alicia Cooper.
Hello, everybody.
And our special guest tonight, coming in the pouring rain on a Sunday evening. She has an exam next week, ladies and gentlemen. But she is here to get the message out. It's Laura Superville. Thank you for coming, Laura.
Thanks for having me.
So today, we're talking about wine. You are a wine-making professional. You're a wine-making expert. Growing up, I always remember my auntie in the kitchen. You know, she always have these little fruits in a jar in the corner there, and it's fermenting and stuff. Yeah, Kevin, don't touch that, boy. Kevin, don't touch that. That's for the wine. We make come December, we go drink the wine for Christmas. You know, you kind of commercialize this now, right? So can you just kind of tell me about how did you get there? How do you go from hey, let me take these fruits here and make this wine? Can you just walk us through that?
I was living in England at the time, in London, and I was experiencing different products from all over the world and seeing, let's say, fruit wine from Australia, fruit wine from Canada, international fruit wine. And I think it was around Christmas time too. I'm probably listening to the same Shanta song with, Miss Gloria's way about the fruit wine.
Homemade wine.
Yeah, the homemade wine.
Gloria.
Yeah. I was thinking, how come we never took it to another level?
Right.
Trinidad is known for rum.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, we do wine, and I would think that wine used to be, fruit or homemade wine used to be a cultural thing where you start preparing it, let's say September to December.
Like my auntie.
Like your aunt. And then I was just like, how come we never took it to that next step in order to export and be on the shelves just like the Canadian wine, just like the Australian wine, and compete internationally with your wine? And then it came back to, okay, packaging, okay, standards, how do you make it? And I came back home and I knew an aunt just like you had an aunt.
They got to the aunties.
I had an aunt who used to make fantastic fruit wines.
All right.
So I went by her and started to learn, and she gave me all these recipes to try and so on. And after that, I went on some winemaking courses.
Okay.
And I started to experiment at home as well. Needless to say, my first batch was horrible.
So these courses, where did you take these courses?
There are some courses available locally. There are some available online. And then I did study tours where you go to winemaking regions, let's say Argentina. My first stop was in Miami because I said I wanted to get, just as, okay, I'm doing fruit wine, I want to make sure fruit wine to fruit wine, the same comparison rather than
apples. No pun intended.
So I want to see, okay, this is what I started doing, this is what I know. I want to see what the experts in the fruit wine production industry, what they are doing. So I visited some, I'm just like, okay, I was actually shocked that I was advanced in some stages.
Were you already advanced?
No, I'm just saying a comparison.
Okay.
Okay, for let's say, a company who is producing fruit wines, they're exporting and making, let's say, 10,000 bottles a year. And my production is small, only producing, let's say, 1,000 bottles a year.
Right.
Yet the level of, let's say, equipment that I'm using versus the kind of equipment that they're using, I was a little more advanced in comparison.
Laura, fancy thing.
So it just acted as a source of encouragement, and I told myself, I'm there.
I can do this.
I can do this. And then experimenting, because wine is a science, but yet it's an art. It's something that you have to teach yourself.
Yeah.
So as I said, my first batch was not good. But you just keep going and going, and then the science behind it, you document everything. And you say, okay, well, this one wasn't good because, okay, too sweet, too dry, too this, too whatever. And you continuously tweak your recipe until you find something that, okay, yes, it's good now.
Same thing I did when I first started out. Scrambling eggs.
A little more complicated.
Maybe a little more technical. Okay. Alright. So I know you also read a lot of books on this topic. Just for the listeners out there, in case they want to read about it, can you just mention a few of those books that you read?
I started off with Winemaking for Beginners or something like that. My aunt also gave me a couple of books, I can't remember their names, which spoke about different types of wine. So wines from different regions and fortified wines like ports and brandies and, so they're totally different ranges of wine other than let's say, wine made from different types of grapes. So, wines, let's say a Merlot
Right.
or Moscato, we're talking about types of grape there.
Okay.
Yeah, so in terms of, if you translate that into fruit wine, it comes back, okay, you're talking about a pommerac versus, so it's a different variety.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a different variety of or a different type of fruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you from idea or even your first batch to where you were ready to bottle and package? I imagine that was like a maid. You probably, I don't know if you remember the date.
No, I don't remember the date. Because I just remember, let's say, doing different trials.
Yes.
And then, occupying my mother's whole dining room.
Right.
And first started off, okay, with a couple batches. And then, okay, now there's too many, Funny enough, she never complained.
Of course, a good mother.
And then I moved into another room, and then, now moved out of that completely and have it's now at a different location, where I actually started calling it the winery.
Oh, nice.
Because that's where you make wine, right?
So do you have a factory or you do it?
I have a location where I do it, yeah.
So winery.
Sorry. Well, I guess a factory where you make wine.
Yeah.
Wine. Yeah.
So you rent a factory space or so?
So my business partner has a location.
Okay.
So I was able to move out of home and expand. So that sorrel that we're drinking there, that's one of the original ones that started all the way back in 2010.
Oh, wow.
And I just had it. And one of my constraints was bottles.
Okay.
So when I was thinking of, okay, so I have the wine now. I guess this was purely experimenting, and yes, okay, I'm thinking it could be a business.
Right.
But I didn't do a business plan.
Right.
I didn't think it through. I just started.
It's a pure passion. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the best
idea. Exactly.
Because honestly, if I were to do a business plan, even now, I said I would have never have started because it's too capital intensive,
exactly.
To begin with.
Yeah.
So I would have said up front.
Shock.
Yes. I would have said up front, okay, I cannot afford this.
Yes.
Let's shelve that idea. What's the next idea?
Yeah. It's like pure passion.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So, okay, so we got to, okay, I have the wine. I have the design for the label. I have the logo. I have the name of the brand, which took me probably about a year plus to think about. I wanted something to represent the uniqueness of the region and to tie back into the wine industry.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking wine, you're talking, let's say, Burgundy or you're talking champagne.
Yes.
So I wanted something to represent, okay, this comes from Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean. So it took me a while to come up with a name. I started thinking about names of flowers that was, let's say, endemic to Trinidad and Tobago that, you can't find anywhere else in the world. And I started thinking about butterflies. I started thinking about all sorts of things. And Amerindian names.
It's on our watch. That's kind of speaker.
So I was just thinking, exploring, what is a name.
Yes.
So it took me a while. So I definitely, spent my time, conceptualizing the business. And, okay, so I had all of this. And then I had nothing to bottle it in. And when I looked at sites online to purchase bottles from, landed, it was coming up to be too expensive,
Wow.
And the only other place to import it from, which was reasonable, was either China or India. And when you're talking about China, you're talking mass. You're talking,
volume.
Yeah, tens of thousands.
Yeah.
So I met up my business partner and we started talking about hydroponics because we do hydroponics as well. So we were talking about lettuce and then I was talking about my wine stuff and I kind of pushed, because he was into hydroponics, so I kind of pushed him that way and he sort of kind of was pushing me, okay, what's up with you and this wine business? And I started to see, well, I'm stalled with bottles, and then he said, well, he gets his hydroponics things from China and he's going to be making an order from China pretty soon.
Okay.
So that I could also, we could link, or let's say consolidate a container.
Yes.
And I can get my bottles. But then we're still talking about tens of thousands of bottles.
Yeah.
So I started negotiating with some ladies in China. and I was able to get 5,000 bottles. But then I still had to figure out how I'm getting it across China, because the port that he is bringing his stuff from is not the same port near to my bottle manufacturers. Yeah. So then we're talking about trucking it across, trucking the bottles across China, which was an additional cost that you're not thinking of. And then we're talking about bottles, which is something fragile, breakages, thinking about, okay, so if I truck it across, how many bottles? Okay, I'm purchasing 5,000, but how many landed?
Exactly.
Am I actually going to get? So all of this going through my mind, so I went ahead. And then storage is 5,000.
Yeah, that's way keeping that in you. These are all things
this is so exciting. I am looking at Laura with wide eyes like a child.
Yeah. Because you don't think about these things.
No, you don't. So, okay, I'm able to consolidate the container. Okay, I got it down from 10,000 minimum order to 5,000. When I get it here, where am I going to put it?
Right.
But that's still not a bad problem to have, because bottles don't spoil.
Right.
So
you can keep them anyway. Once I
can keep them, and I can keep them in the sun. I can keep them, anywhere, because it's glass. They're not going to be damaged.
Yes.
Once they don't get stuck on the inside, mildew and all those different things. So I went ahead and purchased the bottles. And that is how I got started.
Wow.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes.
That's an excellent story.
Yeah, I love that story. I love that story. I'm sure podcast will love that story.
Yes, you don't think about this like, okay, you just think, okay, I just need to get the bottle, get the packaging. You don't think about the physical element of getting the bottles and where are you getting those bottles from, all those things that you were talking about.
Yep.
You know, it's that's good information.
Yeah, even the labels, you think about, okay, well, I have to decide, let's go to print. But again, it's economies of scale. I'm thinking, well, I only need, let's say, 500 labels to begin with.
Right.
But cost of producing 500 versus the cost of, let's say, producing 2,500 is about the same thing.
Exactly.
So you might as well. And then you're like, I don't need so many, So it's a lot of logistics and things that you really don't think about until you're actually in it.
Details.
Yes.
Okay. The name of your company is 11 Degrees North.
Mm-hmm.
Podcast, so if you see this logo, it is sleek, it is sexy. How did you come up with the name?
Right. So earlier on, I was mentioning, I wanted a name to tie back to the uniqueness of Trinidad and Tobago, because when you're talking about wine, you speak about geographical locations. We were talking about wines in Burgundy in France, talking about wines in, let's say, Champagne region, etc. And Oreo, Spain, different things. Or you can name it after the grape, but that's just still a type of, because in Burgundy there would still be, let's say, Merlots or Cabernets, Sauvignons, and so on. So I was thinking about, what could give it the identity of Trinidad and Tobago, And then when you talk about wine, why you talk about geographical location? Because the impact of the environment and the impact of, let's say, all the influences, the environmental factors, the rain, the sun, your microbiological activity in your soil, your soil type, everything has an impact on, let's say, the food that you eat.
Right.
So, and I experienced that where, okay, and I'm sure most people who travel will experience it. If you drink, let's say, Coca-Cola, and you taste Coke in Trinidad, and then you taste Coke, let's say, in the US, or you taste Coke somewhere else, it tastes completely
You are
different.
so right.
Yeah.
The Coke in Europe is excellent.
Yeah.
It's almost healthy, the Coke in Europe, because it uses natural sugar. They don't use any processed
It's the sugar, it's the water, it's
bottling
everything. So that goes back into the whole process of the wine.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of, okay, even mangoes. Mangoes from, let's say, Trinidad is different from mangoes from, let's say, Africa or avocados.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking something that's able to identify that, okay, this is where we are.
Right.
This is our location, and this is what we taste like.
Yeah.
So then I started to think about, okay, geographical location, where are we? So I started looking at latitude, longitude, and then I'm thinking, okay, we are at, I think, 10.58 or something. And it's like, okay, 10 degrees north. Okay, no, maybe let's round it up to 11. And that's how 11 degrees north was conceptualized.
Genius.
Yeah. So it's a construct. Yep.
Thing is, when I'm buying wine, I look at the region as well. So I love South American wine. I love wine from even Australia has wine, right?
Australia has a lot of wine.
Yeah, so I love Australian wine. American wines are may not gravitate too much. No offense to the Americans in the podcast world, but I love me some Chilean wine. What different flavors do you have here at 11 degrees?
So we have 5 flavors currently. We have jamun. Most people don't know it.
Yeah, right. Including me. I was like, cool, jamun.
So it's like a dark purple berry. It has a big seed on the inside. It's very soft body.
Okay.
So to harvest it, you can't really pick it like with your hands. Oh. Because by the time you hold it, you kind of crush it at the same time.
So
it's soft. And then it has a big seed on the inside. So a little bit of flesh, you kind of, that you need to make the wine, you kind of destroy it, So what you have to do is you lay out sheets and you kind of shake the branches. And the right ones will fall. And then you would, let's say, select which fruit you want and which ones you would not use. So it's a very, very delicate fruit.
Okay.
So we have jamun, we have sorrel, which most people like is Christmas time, and Trinidad love sorrel.
Jamaicans love sorrel. Beaches love sorrel. We all love sorrel.
Yes. We have 5-finger or carambola. There's cashew.
5-finger, that's starfruit.
Yeah, or starfruit or carambola. And pommerac.
So we're going to get into the exciting part, right? We're going to get into the exciting part. Podcast will. Last night, because I'm last night, okay. I was reading up on wine making technique. Specifically, Laura's winemaking technique. So what I'm about to do, and Alicia is going to help me a little bit. I'm going to turn away from the laptop. I'm going to try to recite Laura's winemaking process. Mm-hmm. Laura, you'll correct me if I'm right. You'll tell me where I missed out, right? I'm just going to kind of high level thing. I'm not going to get into the hydroponics. Right? Okay, so first step, podcast. The first step, you have to pick the fruit. But you're picking only the best fruit, right? So this is where you shake it up and all these things. You actually pick it yourself?
Sometimes.
You go out in the yard?
I go out and pick,
Lovely.
Promised, yeah.
Alright. Secondly, let me stand up for this. Secondly, you have to sort it, alright? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You have to sort it, and then when it's sorted, you transport it to the broiler or the crusher. Uh-huh. So after it's processed by the broiler, the crusher, it's processed, what do you call that form? Like must?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you take the must across to the...
Well, it's not, I wouldn't really say it's must just yet.
That's right, because must after the fermentation a little bit.
Yeah, when you add your yeast.
When you add the yeast, right? So this is what we're going to do next. Next, you add any yeast and other additives. And it's specific measurements. Mm-hmm. After that, this is where you do your analysis. Where you're analyzing the pH balance. pH, podcast will, is potential hydrogen. You're going to analyze the degrees of Brix, or is it Brie? Brix. Okay. Brix. Degrees of Brix. That is the sugar content.
Yep.
In the water.
It's not an exam,
I certainly felt like it was an exam.
Yeah,
Then I went out and I drank with my cousin. Okay. You're also going to analyze the specific gravity. That is the relative density compared to water. After you do that, you're going to take the seeds, the stems, and the skin. You're going to put that in a bin. Mm-hmm. That is mulch. You're going to use that later on to fertilize the soil. Then, you're going to rack the wine. You're going to rack and siphon it right. So by racking, that is where you kind of...
You're drawing off.
You're drawing off. Drawing off.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of throw it from one container to the next.
So all of this doesn't happen in one day, huh?
Well, of course. Of course. So you filter. So it's like a filtration system?
No, you're just throwing it off. So, okay, let's just say over time, when your wine is fermenting, the solids fall to the bottom.
Right.
So you're just throwing off the liquid at the top and you're allowing the sediment at the bottom to remain.
Okay.
And then you do this a couple of times because as it continues to ferment, more and more particles will fall to the bottom.
It's almost like straining it.
Correct. Right.
But you're not really using any mechanism to strain.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's where the wine actually starts to take color of the fruit itself.
Yes.
Now, while you're doing that, you're doing a taste test. Mm-hmm. Right? And you're monitoring the clarity of the wine, transparency of the wine. Mm-hmm. And after you do that, that is where you put the wine to age. So you take the fruit wines, that is the starfruit, the pommerac, and the cashew. The fruit wines will go in a steel barrel to age for up to 12 months. Mm-hmm. And the sorrel and the jamun go in American oak with medium toast.
Correct.
What that does, it adds flavor, complexity, and length to the wine. Mm-hmm. How did I do, Laura? Did I pass?
You passed.
Podcast, we'll take a round of applause. Lovely. So this process sounds very involved, Laura. That process, I mean, memorizing it was very involved too. You cannot possibly be doing this alone. I know you also have a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of support do you have with this venture?
Okay, so I mentioned I have a business partner, and then I have seasonal staff, which will support me during different processes. So not all the time I would require them, because some of the processes are automated.
Gotcha, okay.
So sometimes just two of us are able to manage and handle what we need to do. Like, let's say the racking.
Right.
We do that for ourselves. You just, let's say, clean your palms, fuck it up, and then you just allow it to do it. Other processes, like, let's say, bottling, you definitely need support, because we're talking about cleaning the bottles, filling the bottles, corking them, putting on the labels, and so on.
1 second, Laura. So, you guys bottle it manually?
Well, semi-automatically, because the filling is by a machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the corking
and everything else is manual.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, well, that's a new challenge that we're now experiencing, because now that, let's say we're growing, we're now recognizing that the process of filling, we can no longer do it the way we used to. Unless, of course, we have full-time staff doing it every single day.
Oh, so because the speed with which you need to
to bottle it off. Because now, recently we bought new tanks. Mm-hmm. So now we're able to produce, let's say, 2,500 bottles per flavor.
Okay.
So in order to fill that, usually we take, let's say, about a day to fill 400 bottles.
Wow. Okay.
So if you're talking about filling 2,500 bottles. By 5,000. Yes. That's going to take quite some time.
Yeah.
So we definitely need to also upgrade our bottling system. So we have to look at that piece of equipment now.
Are most of your customers or people who order from you locally based?
Yeah.
Or are they or do you export a fraction?
Not as yet.
Okay.
That was actually the intention of getting into the wine. Initially, it was purely for export.
Okay.
Just because I saw, let's say, one, in order to make any kind of good return, you need to produce a lot. Let's say the percentage of, when you're talking about, let's say, the wine consumption in Trinidad and Tobago is very small.
It is.
Most people like beer or rum or hard liquor. Yes. Yeah. So the percentage of persons who actually drink wine, I don't know the number or the percentage, but I know I know it's very small. So, but to make sense, you definitely
not in this room.
You definitely have to export, but to do that, you also need certain licenses and you also need distributors in the country that's receiving your wine.
Yeah.
So,
those networks.
Yeah, so you definitely, that's something we have to explore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, because you all are you're almost in your second stage of existence where you cross the barrier into, you commercialize, you have customers, you're now looking to continue to grow. What kind of keeps you up at night?
Everything.
What's your biggest? Are you most concerned about the marketing? We know logistics. That's kind of a given. Okay, something, you have to think about that.
Yeah.
But then, is it the marketing? Is it
I think it's
financing?
Sometimes it's everything and sometimes one thing.
Right.
So sometimes you just dial in on, okay, like let's say we were going to purchase new tanks. At that point in time, I'm thinking about capacity.
Exactly, right.
Which tanks, whether to get them jacketed, not jacketed, whether to get it, would the covers fixed or not fixed, what size should I get, I don't want to get it too, let's say, okay, right now, before we got these tanks, we had them at 100 gallons.
Okay.
Then we moved from 100 to 160.
Okay.
Right, so then I said, okay, we outgrew the 100 so quickly.
Yeah.
So 160. And I said, okay, I don't want to go to, let's say, could we go double and would that be sufficient? I said, let's just go big. Because we will grow
one time.
Because we'll grow into it.
Exactly.
So I don't want to get something intermediate and then we have to
spend again.
Yeah. And then who can I sell it to?
Right.
It's not to say that there's a wine industry that I can sell. Okay, I no longer need these tanks and that I can sell it. So sometimes different things keep me up at night.
Yeah.
at this point in time, it's Christmas time. Usually this is our peak sales time.
Right.
You know, so now it's sales.
Exactly.
That will keep me up, you know. Have I thought about everybody? You know, are we targeting everybody?
Right.
You know, who else? You know? What did I forget?
Imagine. It's really, you look at it and you don't appreciate how much goes into it.
Yeah. And then you start thinking, okay, we are already in December. And by the middle of December, that's it.
Right.
You know, your sales period, that's it. And then you think about everything is kind of shut down. Persons want to go and do things with their family, you know. So even to get staff to come and assist you to do things.
Yes.
You also have to think about, by New Year, have you thought about everything to close off?
Wow.
So that by the time you reopen New Year, you're okay.
Yes.
You know. So it also means having foresight. So, yeah, it's different things keep you up at different times.
And this is because as you mentioned, wine it's not as heavily consumed in Trinidad as it is, say, in North America or in Europe, you know, where they're heavy wine consumers. So, and even within wine, fruit wine is a niche in itself.
Correct.
What was that experience like trying to get on the shelves of the, you know, common stores here that do sell wine and getting it? Convincing the wine drinkers, the 10 wine drinkers to try.
I'm still convincing them. So, as we said, that we used to have a tradition of winemaking.
Right.
Or homemade wine.
Right.
And the perception of that also has put a perception on 11 degrees north. So, let's say persons tend to not value it
as highly as
imported grape wine.
Right.
Some persons say, okay, if it's not grape, it's not wine. Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, grape is a fruit. Mango is a fruit, or I don't produce mango wine, but mango is a fruit.
Yeah.
Pommerac is a fruit, you know. And what is wine?
Exactly.
Not fermentation of a fruit.
Exactly.
You know. So that is one argument. But it's a lot of education as well.
Yes.
In terms of, we follow the same traditional wine making practices as, let's say, you would do with grape.
Right.
So it also is ensuring that the consumer is also aware and appreciates your art.
Yes.
You know, and your science. That is a work in progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you tackle that with marketing and
sampling?
Okay, gotcha.
You know, because some persons expect that you would get a very, very sharp alcohol content, no flavor, because that's what they know.
Right.
From homemade wine. You know, something to get drunk off of.
Yes.
But I'm saying, no, it's not the typical 21-day process, because that is the traditional process, right? 21 days, you leave it, you rack it off. Sometimes it's still fermenting. And you consume it, you know?
Wow, okay.
But we're saying, no, that we're a little bit more sophisticated and
a lot more sophisticated.
and it's worth it, you know?
Yes.
It's just as good as your grape wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah. It is. In a recent interview, you stated that one of the main challenges for 11 Degrees North is a lack of financial resources. Mm-hmm. So what I want to ask is, so let's assume that Alicia and I, through our company Aspire, let's assume that we were able to source an investment for you, a significant investment, and that investment was given to you in January. What will you do with that money?
First?
Hold on. She's ready. She is ready. But here's my list of 5 things. So what will you do with that money from between January and December? How would you prepare the business for the next level between January and December? First,
I would acquire a location to, let's say, grow my own fruit, to have everything in one area. Because I would like to think that I'm a scientist. I've done, you know, my BSc's in science. I've done science at CXC. You know, I just think that I'm scientific. Yes. You know, I take a scientific approach. So in terms of the viticulture of growing your own fruit and the value of that added to the value that it will add to your wines, I would want to, let's say,
have control over that.
Yeah. So the actual agronomy of producing your own fruit, I want to do that.
Okay.
So I would want to have a location, plant the fruit, you wouldn't get any harvest till, let's say, 5 years from, approximately 5 years from now. But getting that process started. I mean, most wines, when you think about winemaking regions, those vines are hundreds of years old.
Yes, yeah.
You know? So getting that started, moving, let's say, the winery on site with the orchard, you know, where you have your trees and stuff where persons could eventually come and see what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm visualizing Napa in Trinidad.
Correct. So it goes back into, okay, you have a place where you can educate persons as to the science behind it and the value that we are bringing to fruit wine, you know?
True, because I've gone to wine tours and it's an experience and you pay for. So, you know,
so it will be an agritourism experience. Yes. And add to, places to go in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
But that is even beyond, because if we're talking about planting the trees, if we're talking about land preparation, that would probably take you the full year. Or maybe not, but and then started to, let's say, transition your things from where I currently do wine production to on that site. Yes, that will take up my capital investment.
Okay, with that ease your mind in terms of, oh gosh, I wanna get this done, but oh gosh, we just have no money. But that ease your mind.
For sure. Yes, because access to fruit is currently an issue. So even in terms of, yes, I have a tank with a capacity of 2,500. Right. Will I be able to set that? That's another issue.
How do you source your fruit now?
So I have a couple estates that I go to that I currently get fruit.
Okay.
But in order to fill that capacity, 2,500 bottles, that tank, no, not currently.
Oh, wow.
So it definitely having a control over, you know, harvesting your own and then the quality of fruit.
Yes.
Yeah, and the quality of the fruit that you also put into the wine, because not all the time I'm able to, let's say, go and harvest. Sometimes they harvest for you. So when they harvest for you, and then you have to sort,
of course,
you know, so it's just embedding you in terms of, let's say, cradle to grave, a cradle to grave system.
No, it makes perfect sense because that's your primary input.
Yes.
you want to have as much control as possible over that. And then you could also, it's another potential, forget my finance, it's another revenue stream.
Yes, for sure.
ROI.
Who knows, places could have their weddings there.
Yeah, I think those vineyards are very, my sister also lives in a winemaking region in Canada. And it's a thing to do. It's their tours, and there you have several vineyards. But just to go to the vineyard, taste, sample all the wines, you spend the whole day there.
Yeah.
And it's not an inexpensive thing to do.
Yeah.
So it is a revenue generator for them. So
I'm just going wild whole conversation. I love wine. I'm just so excited to learn how to make it. And have it confirmed by a professional like Kevin. Yes, he knows how to make wine now.
You can do it now.
So tomorrow I'm going to make wine.
I hope so. Just make sure that you're in for let's say, a stretch in terms of it's not just something you start today and it ends tomorrow. No. It's just how you may have something on your counter there for a year,
That is true. It's funny. So I also looked on YouTube at people making homemade wine without yeast, right? So they take in these mason jars, they heat in water and sugar in one pan, and they heat in the 10 centimeter mason jars in another pan. And all throughout the video, you just see this disclaimer. Jars may explode. Try at your own risk. This is a 10-minute video. The whole 10 minutes, and you say jars may explode. So why is one?
No, but having things explode in wine making is not something that is, let's say, unheard of. Yes, I mean, bottles have exploded in my house already. And
so that's just a normal thing. That's right.
No. I mean, we're not talking about any heating process or anything. So let's say you bottle up. I remember coming home to by my mom, and her whole house was smelling of wine, and I'm like, why am I smelling wine? This morning when I left, I wasn't smelling wine, And when I went into the room that had the wine, bottles were just popping open.
Oh my gosh.
And that's because I didn't add an additive to stop the, let's say, fermentation process.
Okay.
Yes.
So over time, it just continues, the yeast continues to ferment.
I could have told you that.
This is before I knew what I knew. Okay?
Yeah. Oh my god, you live and you learn.
Yes. And then, the carbon dioxide builds up in your in the bottle and pop.
Yep.
Champagne.
Exactly.
That's how you make champagne, actually.
Oh, okay.
You reintroduce yeast and you allow it to ferment and the carbon dioxide builds up.
Well, you shouldn't have told me that. Because I love champagne.
So that's how you make champagne.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Laura, for the past 2 weeks, I've been trying to reach you and you tell me, Kevin, I'm in Panama. I am busy. What were you doing in Panama?
Trying to source bottles. So we spoke about, coming from China.
Right.
And, well, in terms of the freight to get over here, I'm thinking if we get it within the region.
Yes, it'll be less.
It should be, right?
I'm like a twist.
So I was trying to source something within the region. I wasn't fortunate to find anything yet.
Okay.
But my search continues. So maybe I'm gonna try Mexico next. But,
Mexico. I might need to go and look for some bottles too.
Yeah.
I think I want to go look for some bottles.
Well, lovely.
Is this a business trip? Do you need a business partner?
Sure. Do you speak Spanish?
Sí. Muy bien.
No hablo español.
Yeah. So that was
You speak Spanish?
trip. No, I don't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how did you overcome that? Did you go with somebody who...
Google.
Okay.
Google Translate. Yes. Yeah. That works quite well.
Yeah, I could say chairs in 6 different languages just because of Google Translate.
Really?
That's really useful.
Yeah.
What keeps you going? Because it sounds you have every, which is part of building a business, that continuously going to be roadblocks. So what keeps you going? What made you not give up when you realize it's going to be expensive to get the bottles from China? Or when you realize, I really can't get anything from Panama right now, or I want to expand, but it's taking longer than I wanted to. I don't have all of these. I'm not listing all of these.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say tonight. But what makes you keep going?
I don't know. I think I'm just persistent by nature. I just don't give up until I get it.
Good. From what I'm getting from you is you have a lot of the qualities of a true entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You hear I think his name's Jamun.
Yes.
John, he just wrote a book recently. I haven't read it. It hasn't come out yet. Rise and Grind. He talks about that. I follow him on Instagram. So he talks about not giving up and, overcoming challenges. And it's something you hear that we encourage people that aspire to do when we meet with entrepreneurs. And it seems to be genetic, built into you.
Yeah.
So that's why it's just a willingness to never give up, essentially.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I always remember my mom saying, you must finish what you started. Finish what you started.
It's a good lesson.
And I only just begun.
This is excellent.
But yes, doing business, I never thought it would be so emotional. Because one minute you're feeling great, yes.
Yeah.
I'm doing fine, I got it, yeah. And then it could be the next day. Or the next couple hours. You just down to a low, oh my God.
Yes.
And the next day you just have to pick yourself back up.
And keep going.
And just keep going.
No, that's admirable.
I'm just chalking up to, God, now I've learned another lesson.
Yes.
So, you're speaking about Instagram, there also, I think, House of Leaders that I subscribe to.
Okay.
And it speaks about failure.
Mm-hmm.
And failure being actually something that is positive.
Exactly.
So every time I feel, let's say, this is crap, or this has gone wrong, or, what am I doing? I'm just like, this is just part of, my story, my journey, part of success.
Yes.
We've learned a lesson.
No, and we move on. An amazing story. Today you have an amazing story.
So, and I know we have a long, long road ahead of us. But we just keep going. Well,
that is excellent, and you should talk to as many young women as possible.
Yes,
and men.
And men, of course.
But particularly, I think women, because it's good to have somebody to look up to and to see, she's doing it, so I can do it. And that brings me to my next question: if you had any mentors or somebody that you looked up to for guidance beyond maybe your mom or
I speak to my dad all the time.
Yes.
I'm a big daddy's girl.
Yeah.
I speak to my dad, and I have a couple professionals who I constantly bounce ideas off of.
Yes.
It is important to have a mentor and to assist you in terms of refining your thoughts.
Right.
You know, am I thinking this through properly?
Mm-hmm.
You know, even in terms of at one point in time, let's say in marketing of 11 Degrees North, I only wanted it in certain restaurants and certain wine bars and certain, you know, and that's when you become too close to,
right,
you know.
Yeah, so you're trying to protective of the brand.
Yes,
and where
correct.
It be.
Yes, and I don't want it here and I don't want it there. Mm-hmm. And that's where they help you to be a little more balanced.
Gotcha, yeah.
You know, and see things a little more objectively. Okay. So, yeah, I see the value of mentorship and the value of family and good friends.
Yes, no, agreed.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, Laura, Podcast World needs this wine now.
Now.
They needed it yesterday. They needed it in December when it was recorded, when this episode was recorded.
Exactly.
Where can they find it?
They can find it in Bottle Stop. I say Marval, Diego Martin, San Fernando. Time to Wine, San Fernando. Time to Wine in Tobago. Uncorked on Track Reed Road. Happy Gourmet in Fowl Park. Sweet Nothing, Trinity Mall. And a lot of other places that I can't remember.
You're in duty free as well? You're in the airport as well?
No, but Statues Long Circular Mall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about internationally?
Not yet. I have, let's say, shipped a couple of bottles for persons who would, let's say, write me and say, can I have a couple of bottles? Mm-hmm. I have shipped a couple of bottles to them, but it's not something that I would, let's say, do on a large or regular basis. Yeah.
Is it
not yet.
Not yet.
Is it profitable for you?
No. So once I break even, I'm fine with that.
I'm talking about shipping abroad. I'm just talking about
I'm talking about shipping abroad.
Okay.
Once I break even in terms of, let's say, transportation, because remember, it's liquid, it's bottles, it's heavy. Mm-hmm. So when you try to FedEx that, you bill, you know. So once I break even, that is fine. Just for the exposure.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Can it be found online?
Not as yet.
As I said, but that's in the works, right? Please. Podcast World is begging. I am begging on behalf of Podcast World. Podcast World, I have bought 3 bottles of wine in the past 2 weeks. I bought my 3rd bottle 2 days ago.
Where you got your 3rd bottle?
I got it in Uncorked Wines and Spirits.
Yeah.
Big up to Mr. Dion Braffett, trying to get him on the Podcast World soon.
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to lock him down. He's a busy guy as well. He's in the wine business, so we know how it goes. Okay, so Laura, for people out there who want to brew their own wine, for it to be at the commercial level.
Be at the commercial level?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What advice would you have for that?
Read and experiment. As I said, winemaking is both an art and a science. So make sure you have your science down correctly. Read, know the pHs that you need to be, the ranges that you need to be within, the number of bricks that you need to be within, microbiological activity, the type of yeast that you need to get. Not bread making yeast. You know, wine making.
I didn't know there were types of yeast.
So I still have my receipt?
So read, as you say, watch the things on YouTube, try to discern the good ones from the not so good ones, the videos, and experiment and taste.
Okay. What about people who not necessarily want to get into wine per se, but they want to get into their own business, but it's also pretty capital intensive. So many people got all this money to get inside, but I really love this. I really have a passion for this, but it's such a big cost to get in. What do I do? Let me just go to work.
Maybe there's a way to look at it in steps or in stages and see, okay, what do I need to get it from, let's say, stage 0 to stage 1. And then when you get from stage 1, maybe you could use that money that you've generated as seed money, you know, to let's say carry it to the next stage, you know. And then if you need an investor, how do I go about getting an investor or a partner, you know, and other players who can help you along the way. Not everything is tangible in terms of dollars and cents that you need up front, but there are other things that the intangibles, the networks, that can help you push your business forward.
And that's right. So many people undervalue the importance of your network.
Yeah.
Yes. And even so step by step, like you're saying, we see a lot of would-be entrepreneurs come in and they're asking for, I'm just going to say, $1 million to get from A to Z. But as you said, why not get from A to B? Use B to get you to C.
Yeah.
So viewing it that way makes it, one, totally doable, which you're living proof of.
Yeah.
And it also makes it, from the investor's perspective, a much easier, it's a proven concept, it's a much easier pill to swallow if it needs to be, you know. What you're saying is spot on and needs to be heard by many more people.
Many.
Yeah.
And then I remember in university, there was this lecturer who always told me, and it stuck with me, do your homework.
Yes.
Always do your homework. Yeah.
You know, read, research, you know, lifelong learning is the thing to make us survive in this new world.
You are so correct.
So constantly consuming information, yes, about your industry, yes, about your craft, but also about everything else.
Yes.
You know, because entrepreneurs, you not only want to know about the science, but you also have to know marketing, you have to know sales, you have to know
exactly
logistics, you have to know everything.
Yep.
You know, so do your homework. And to tie back into our Instagram, who we follow, you know, as I said, that being an entrepreneur is something that's very emotional.
Yes.
Having a support system and, let's say, subscribing or following persons that will give you positive messages.
Yes.
And to keep you going.
Yeah.
You know, keep your mindset on the A game. Keep you focused. You know, keeping you focused.
Thanks a lot for coming tonight, Laura. And it's Sunday evening, it's raining. Alicia, thank you for taking the time to come out.
Of course, this was great.
we drank good wine. We had a nice conversation. I know how to make wine. Tomorrow I'm going to start. Podcast will look out for me.
What kind of wine are you starting with?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe apple wine.
Oh, okay.
You know? Maybe I could, maybe I'll find something to kind of make apple wine for me. I don't know. Maybe something.
Or maybe
wine
you do a blend. You know, apple and something else.
Oh, yeah.
Apple and a lime?
I don't know.
Oh, that actually sounds good. Podcast will do not steal my recipe. It's coming out. Look for it. 2019. So, Laura, if somebody wants to contact you directly, how can they find you? Where can they find you? Where can they find 11 Degrees North?
They can find us on Facebook just by searching 11 Degrees North or by searching 11 DEG capital N. And they'll find us. They can also email us at either... You can email me directly, laurasuperville@gmail.com. You can call me directly on 776-1371.
No creepy calls, guys.
I know, I was thinking the free.
Don't do it, guys.
It's a business phone.
And that's my contact information.
Yeah.
Excellent. Podcast world, there you have it. Craven Power Lunch featuring black-owned businesses. We are out. We are going to drink wine right now.